And emphasis being put on the Gen Zs to register, ahead of the 2027 general election, and also the issue of whether former President Uhuru Kenyatta has the right to actually criticize the current regime. And Victor, I would want to pick your mind about what's happening in as far as the political rhetoric is concerned. Do former leaders have a place, to criticize the current regime?
Okay, give and take. Having in mind that he's a politician, we have to give it to that. He's a politician. But some would say that he should be speaking about the current regime. That is number one. That is also going to be forming part of a discussion, by the way. And when it comes to the issue of IBC new voter registration, which kicks off today, 6.3 million new voters are expected to register. Remember last election, almost close to 8 million people did not vote. And all of the guests that I have here are a product of election and voter registration, except Oscar, who is also eyeing for one. But let me start with you, Deputy Governor, Dr. Mohamud. Good morning.
Good morning.
First of all, how is Mandera doing?
So far, so good.
6.3 million people expected to be registered this time around?
Yes, absolutely. 2 million of that will be coming from Mandera, northern Kenya.
Okay.
Yes.
Great. And Turkana West, what should you expect from you? Mheshimiwa Nanok.
Good morning, Victor.
Good morning.
Viewers, thank you for having me and my distinguished panel here.
Karibu.
For today. You're asking what do I expect on what? On the voter registration?
Exactly, yes.
Oh, yes. I expect that there will be close to 500, 600,000 people registering in Turkana. With national IDs,
yes,
which has been a huge problem for us as a county. And if those people get registered with their IDs, then we expect that
500,000 Turkana or Turkana West?
Well, not Turkana West. Turkana West, looking at around 50, 60,000 more voters coming on board. Yes.
Great. And DG, Mungangi, you basically also have this one being pushed from your party leader, that is Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka, that new voter registers should come out and do the valid exercise starting today. What should you expect from Machakos?
Obviously, we expect so many people to register as voters, but I think I should not focus on Machakos alone. I think even the entire region, even across the country, it is the mandate of IEBC.
Yes.
Although the current administration doesn't appear to understand that the voter registration is supposed to be a continuous exercise, not at the sub-county level, not at ward level, even at the polling level. That is the law. But when you hear them talk in public forums and in podium, you wonder, although many of them did not support the Constitution, nor have they ever read, they just talk for the sake of talking. Voter registration should not be, we wait for some time and then we go. It is supposed to be a continuous exercise.
Thank you.
Yes.
We'll come back to that. Oscar, a continuous exercise? Good morning.
Good morning, Victor.
6.3 million new voters expected, and it's an exercise that we've been waiting for as a country for a long time.
Yes, an exercise we've been waiting for as a country a long time. I don't know if they will get it right, because the young people who are here today, who are supposed to register, the majority of people whom we are expecting to register as new voters are people who fall in the age of 18 between when we registered last and now. And these are the group that we call the Gen Zs today. I don't know if they will register as voters, because their way of doing things is completely different from the previous generations. They don't like using physical documents. They like it when it is online and what have you.
Right, we'll get more into that as we come back. Oscar Mondo is political and governance expert. He's also a university lecturer. All right, Marie, tumalizie maneno, tukirudi.
Indeed, Victor, and the Gen Z's vote will be up for, grabs for every politician. So register. Remember, you need your ID to register as a new voter, and definitely also if you're changing your voting details and all that. So moving on, let's look at news making headlines in the counties where traders in Hola Town, Tana River County, have opposed this year's county finance bill, saying its proposals will cripple small businesses already struggling with the hard economic challenges. And elsewhere, hundreds of expectant mothers from Embu and neighboring counties have benefited from a free medical camp organized by Neema Universal Healthcare Hospital to help curb maternal deaths. These and more stories coming up in our County News Roundup.
Speaking in Hola Town, the traders expressed their dissatisfaction with the proposed tax increases, which they say were introduced without consultation or public input. They stated that the proposals in the bill, including new business license fees and service charges, come at a time when the economic situation is already difficult for many.
Lakini kwa kushangaa kwangu ni kwamba hata wale ambao ni viongozi wa kaunti ambao walikuwa pale mbele hawakutaka kumsikiza mwananchi kwa kikamilifu yale ambayo anayahitaji.
In Embu, a monthly initiative to offer free medical services to expectant mothers was organized, offering services like gynecology, ultrasound, nutrition, and counseling in preparation for childbirth, all aimed at improving health outcomes for both the mother and the baby.
Nia yetu ni kuhakikisha kwamba kila mama mwenye ako na mimba anaweza kubeba hii mimba yake hadi ifike tamati na aweze kuzaa mtoto akiwa na afya njema kwa mtoto na kwa mama.
Meanwhile, in Kiambu County, a group of 32 graduates who completed a 3-month mindful self-compassion course at Africana College in Thika has stepped forward to offer psychological support at the community level. The graduate pledged to apply their newly acquired skills to fill the gap of mental health services wherever needed.
You are able to understand the emotion. Unaweza kujua natengeneza kutoka wapi. Tumekuwa na hili somo pamoja na counselors wengine, wanafunzi pia na muungano community counselors, na ni somo ambalo tunahisi litatusaidia sisi na hadi community yetu.
Still in Kiambu County, farmers from Komothai Coffee Society in Githunguri held their annual general meeting to review budgets and address challenges in the coffee sector. The members were briefed on a new digital system introduced a few days ago, where the farmers will receive mobile notifications each time they sell their coffee.
When you place your coffee at the digital weigh scale, you receive an automatic message in your phone that assists you and assists us in monitoring of our coffee and monitoring of our coffee ratio of cherry to green coffee ratio.
Elsewhere in Tana River County, new water projects worth over 126 million shillings have been launched to address the persistent water scarcity affecting the region, particularly the Tana Delta area.
Ningependa kutoa ujumbe kwa jamii kuwa endapo mradi huu unapoenda kuisha, wajaribu kuchunga hiyo infrastructure, sababu vandalism ndio inatu affect sana huku Tana River, na inajaribu pia ku-affect juhudi za partners wengi sana ambao wanatusaidia.
Finally, in Kakamega County, environmental activists have urged Kenyans to rally behind government initiatives, including environmental conservation efforts and programs aimed at supporting persons with disabilities and the vulnerable in the society.
We appeal and we support the communities, and it's easy to support anyone with something that enables that person to be able to achieve a certain part of his life.
Well, that story puts a cap on the news this morning. Thank you so much for being with us, but we're not yet done. Good Morning Kenya still continues. I'll be back at some point to actually update you on what's happening as far as the news is concerned. But right about now, Victor. Yes.
Right, thank you so much, Marie. And of course, I'll be talking about that when you have got leaders here. We'll be talking about issues to their counties and what they have achieved so far. That is coming up. So today we are going to be talking about, we'll be talking about the issue of IBC, the new voter registration. As we had alluded before, the new voter register is expected to have 6.3 million new voters. And Dr. Malim says that 2 million is expected to come from the northern frontier. quite ambitious. He'll tell us how they are going to achieve that. And our soldiers in Haiti, that mission is almost coming to an end, 2nd of October, in a few days' time. Let's take a look at that. Remember, the president was before the UN General Assembly in New York, and a lot of issues were raised with regards to that. And Uhuru of speak, all right, speech to speak. The former president spoke, and it's raised a lot of concern. I want to pick their mind whether he should be speaking. DG, he should be speaking or not? Mongagi, in 1 second, yes or no?
Yes.
Thank you. Let's take a break. We'll be right back with more. Stay with us. Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. It's now 6 minutes past 7 a.m. Before you leave your house or start your daily business, let's talk about matters of national concern. Today, the IEBC commissioners will be meeting the deputy president, that is Kithure Kindiki, at his current offices. That is a meeting that is expected to start this morning. And of course, also signaling the beginning of a new voter registration exercise that is targeting 6.3 million voters ahead of the next general election. Last year, it was, floated that almost 8 million people did not vote in the last election. So you could imagine what that deficit was all about, and now the drive is going to start today. All you need is to have your national identity card and register as a voter. There is no better exercise and a feeling, patriotically speaking, than casting your vote. Oscar, let me start with you. The exercise begins today, and of course, it's going to be a continuous process. Once again, welcome back to the program. What should you expect from IBC? It's a new commission. Chairman Erastus has got a lot in his plate to take care of moving forward.
Matters election, matters voting in Kenya, matters voting in Africa, matters voting globally has contemporarily become something that we've been going through serious political apathy.
Yes.
The contemporary generation are not probably interested. I don't know if they're not interested in politics or they've been disappointed by the leaders that they elect. I think democracy has brought in leaders who get unpopular 1 month or 2 months after elections. So they don't inspire the electorate. For example, you know, where I come from in Siaya, we had a nomination, a by-election, for a by-election. So we had party nominations. In a constituency with 60,000 registered voters, I think 7,000 turned out to participate in that process. That means that people are not inspired by these processes, probably because of what has been historically happening at the elections, where people start the process of registering as voters. They end up going to vote, but at some level, things get out of control. So people are not really inspired to participate in that process. And now we need leaders who can inspire people to participate in the process. If you ask me, my prediction is the turnout for people who will register to participate in the process will be too low. Secondly, Kenyans are last-minute people. They will not come today, and probably towards the end of the process, if you announce that it is 2 days, it's ending, then probably they will go. And as the deputy DG says, that the voting should be an always continuous process, which, yes, it should be a process, but they have a mass. I think whatever is happening now should have been, the idea was that we have a mass registration where we register, we employ many clerks to go to the ward level, as opposed to the continuous registration where we have an RO who sits in an RO's office, IBC constituency office, and people go to register with the RO continuously. But whatever is happening, I think if something does not happen, the IBC might not be able to inspire people to vote. No. It is the political leadership that are influential, who control the influence among societies, that can inspire people to vote. The current crop of leaders who are running for presidency, United Opposition, or the Kenya Kwanza regime might not be inspiring the new generation, all of them. Yeah, they say We don't want this guy, but we also don't want the other guys who are coming. So they're not inspired.
You said too low. That was, you said that 3 times.
Yeah, I've told you an example. You know, we do politics and we do research. And we can only compare, we do comparative analysis. And I've told you that last week we had nomination exercise in Ugunja for ODM party. In a region where we have, in a constituency where we have more than 60,000 registered voters, only 7,000 turned up to participate in the process, for example. In the last election, you've said that 8 million didn't turn up. These are examples of serious political apathy, that people are not participating in these processes. 8 million is a big number. Where were they? Where did they disappear? Why did they register and they didn't vote? Probably you also didn't come, you've also not mentioned that how many people were eligible to vote in the 2022 election? There were not 22, we had 22 million registered voters, I think so. Yes, but the people who were eligible to vote in that election could be around 30 million. So if there were 30 million, 8 million didn't participate in registration or exercise, so they didn't register as voters. Then 8 million didn't vote. That means 16 million didn't participate in the process. I've always thought that maybe we should do away with the voter's card, so that anybody with an ID card who is Kenyan should be an eligible voter.
Okay, let me get from you, Dr.
Thank you very much, Victor. I think this is a very important question. And I must start with, I fundamentally disagree with my brother Oscar Omondi in the sense that, the voter registration or turnout will be too low. I think that is a very serious assumption. But we don't need to generalize the entire country in terms of voter registration. There were certain regions that will be significantly coming out to register for votes and also register for ID cards as well. And you know, the way Kenya is culturally is that they register based on what is in it for me. That's how they look at it. Do we have a presidential candidate in the program? Do you have other serious individuals that they must rally behind? And if we unpack and other factors, including the lifting of vetting on IDs. But if we unpack the entire country into regions, I can tell you that there are 2 key groups that are likely to register significantly. And these are the people from northern Kenya, and largely because for many years, for the 60 or so years that this country had an independence, our people in northern Kenya, and when I say northern Kenya includes Turkana, Marsabit, Moyale, Isiolo, Samburu, the whole 70% of this country in terms of landmass, they were not registering. And it's not that they were not registering for votes, it was the fact that they did not have IDs to register for votes. Now this lifting has really doubled or tripled the number of IDs Kenyans can qualify for. I don't know if you require, if you remember about 5 years ago in Turkana, there was an 80-year-old woman for the first time who got an ID card. And some of the reasons was that she has lost hope in getting ID card at a younger age. Now this thing has renewed hope in the people of northern Kenya. What Turkana is experiencing is what Mandera was experiencing, is what Samburu was experiencing, and what Moyale was experiencing. Now that game has changed, and our people are really inspired. And because even on the census numbers, we have been challenged many times in the courts, I believe that this has given the people new hope, and we will see some serious shift in terms of ID registration and voter registration. And I told you, we are looking at about 1.5 to 2 million new voter registration from that region. It might surprise a lot of people. They might politicize it. They might talk about a lot of things, especially in the backyard of Wamunyoro and the likes. But I will tell you the truth is that is the numbers that we are looking at. The second group, Victor, is the Gen Zs. The Gen Zs have done a very serious awareness in this country in terms of the challenges and the corruption this country is going through. And this is going to be their time if they mobilize. As I told you, every group, whether an ethnic group or certain groups like the Gen Zs, they will always look at who is there for me. Right now, as we see the same old fellows back in the political stage. I do not see any new face. I don't see any Gen Z. But in the event that we have a very serious Gen Z candidate for whatever top rank that there is going to be, we believe that there will be some serious, significant mobilization. And
let me get your mind. What do you think of what Oscar is saying, that IBC should do away with the voter's card, just appear with your identity card?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm coming to that.
Yeah.
I'm coming to that. You know, we are moving very fast in terms of technology. And we have adopted technology in many sectors in this country. And voter registration, as well as ID cards, should not be any different. You know, you go to any ID place and they are still taking your fingerprints on that big plain sheet, which really is a very old, 19 whatever technology, or what if you want to call it technology. But I think that will really make a difference in terms of voter registration, because it appeals to significant population in this country. But Victor, I think we need to have some Gen Zs in this movement. You know, we had this young man who was, Inject, who rose very quickly. What was his name? The guy who did the Inject party.
Oh, yeah, Morara.
Yes, Morara. See, we had Morara rising, and then suddenly he disappeared. And that was giving hope to the Gen Zs. So we need somebody like that to be part of all this political movement.
I'll come back to you.
Yes.
Let me also support you. Mheshimiwa Nanok, you also agree with the 1.5 to 2 million from the Northern Frontier?
Maybe not the numbers per se. Those are projections, and I think I agree to a big extent with what Dr. Arias said about those who are going to influence the voter turnout, or not voter turnout, but voter registration. Are these two groups, the Northern Kenya and the young people of this country who are of age and are ready now to join the fray in terms of registering as voters. And that is very true, Victor. Just that we don't seem in this country to appreciate the kind of bottlenecks that the northern part of this country has gone through for the last 60 years. Government policy actually fighting its own people to do the things that they're supposed to do. Now that there is that open space, and for the first time in this country, Northern Kenya feels like they are part of this country, Victor, because of this question of vetting being removed for purposes of ID registration. What Dr. quoted is true, and that is the common thing. In my constituency alone, the elderly people in my constituency are hardly, the registered ones are hardly 10,000. And yet majority of the people are elderly. And they don't have IDs. And these people, because of the challenges of their lifestyle, their mobility, the nomadism, the vastness of the region, and therefore not being able to access these registration services, that has hindered our numbers. Number of people who have IDs. And now that for you to vote, you must have an ID, then of course that is already undermined by the low registration of persons in the country. Now that this thing has been lifted off, Victor, we expect that more people will register first with the IDs and then register as voters. That will be the game changer come 2027. The second lot, as you have said, are the young people, those who are attaining the age of 18. Of course, that cuts across in the country. And as normal, the demographics show that, of course, there are more young people than those other ages. That is true also for Turkana and the rest of the country. So I would expect those people to come on board. And these are young people. They are more educated. They are more aware of what is happening. And Kenyans, as you might know, Victor, are generally people who are interested in politics. They like to talk about politics. They will spend a whole day debating on politics. So these people are getting the opportunity now to participate. And it is interesting. The conversation by the Gen Zs that they began beginning 2023, 2024, last year, Victor, is not dead. It is coming on. So even what the Don Oscar was saying about this turnout being lower, I do not agree with that, with this take. These people, the young people of this country are very active, and they are the ones who are going to make a big difference come 2020.
Okay.
27.
Thank you. Dijimogangi, you, of course, you've heard what they've said, but two things. New voter registration, but the person who is being targeted here is the youth. What about the 8 million people who did not vote? How are we going to change their minds so that they are also be onboarded this time around?
First, thank you, and I partly agree with my two colleagues, His Excellency the Deputy Governor and my one-time colleague in Parliament. I think what Oscar has quoted is also true. Let us not dismiss him. Why? Because we analyze from previous undertaking. This is not the first voter registration we are witnessing.
Yeah.
Again, personally, I don't agree with any isolation, any discrimination, any form of whatsoever isolating certain group or region in whichever way. But when it comes to the security of this country, and considering that we have had countries in Great Lakes and also a country like Somalia that has had issues of internal strife for a long time, and if the Deputy Governor and Mheshimiwa could have interacted with coming to America by Hila Homar, a child that was born in Somalia, grew up in one of the camps in northern Kenya, and migrated to America, and today is a member of parliament in the United States. You will understand why vetting is important. It is on record. A few months ago, a governor, a sitting governor, who is a former senior military leader, a security personnel, who is highly educated, said in his county we have chiefs who are being brought from neighboring country, Somalia, being given jobs in Kenya. We have people coming from Somalia and are being issued with identity cards, and that exercise was ongoing, and it was everywhere, appealing, saying this is a threat to national security and stability of this country. It is not very good we dismiss some of these things and say that we have been marginalized for a long time, and that we now want. What we need to do, we need also to take good care of the security of this country as we carry out this exercise. Back to voter registration. I'm sure Kenyans, from the record, whichever kind of exercise that we are is concerning registration, we are known to rush 11th hour. That one you will see. And Victor, mark date today. And when this exercise is ending, please, I pray that you call us, 4 of us, to debate again this issue. You will see at the 11th hour, so many people asking for extension for a manner of, we are there. So, Gen Zs, obviously, and anyone who do not have a voter's card or an identity card and wants to change this country, I am very sure will be willing to go and seek those documents so that they can go and register as voters. Because everybody, you know, one thing Kenyans should know, and I remind them because I know majority know, is if you don't participate in this political exercise, policies and laws which affect your life will be meant by somebody else whom you did not participate in making sure that person is in place. And if you do that, you will continue crying. So anybody who does not register as a voter is one who does not wish to see this country move forward. So I think the issues touching on Gen Zs, the issues of the people who are seeing bad policies being implemented in this country and do not have ID or have not registered as voters are people of interest in this exercise. Yes.
Victor, I must respond to the vetting issue by the Deputy Governor. First of all, we cannot use security as an excuse to subjugate or sabotage the rights of Kenyan citizens. Yes, it is true, Governor Godona Doyo of Tana River has alluded to the fact that there are a lot of Somalis who are pushing his people, and some of them are chiefs in the area. The truth of the matter is that that is a political statement. And it's political because Godana Doyo's county, Tana River County, the population is very small. And the Somali population is huge and moving into Tana River. Tana River is a Kenyan county. I mean, there are a lot of Somalis in Kisumu. If you go to Kisumu town, the thriving market are Somali community and a lot of people from the northern region. The same thing, they're establishing themselves in Tana River. Just because he has a lot of fear in terms of future political influence because of their expanding population and because of the small population from his county, then he has to use that line to sabotage voting. Now, you tell me, Busia, are we issuing chiefs from Uganda? Are we giving position of chiefs to people from Uganda?
Well, we've not had that.
Are we doing the same thing in Tana River where voting has been, vetting has been lifted? Do we have chiefs? Do we have security issues? The same thing. Every border post does not have chiefs from Somalia being appointed. Just because it is a border. So I think this line of thinking is what has messed this country. Kenya, we have 65% of landmass in northern Kenya. This is what Kenyans must understand. And the excuse they use is that the population density is very low. Yes, it has to be low because Nyeri might have the highest population density. But what's population density? It is the population divided by the land. Wait, Victor. So then you expect to have 90%. In northern Kenya, when you have 65% of the landmass of this country, and you have the same exact population or more of central in northern Kenya, then you expect the population density to be low. So the fact that you are seeing movement and a lot of people, gaining hope and reassurance that they want to be part of this country does not necessarily mean that there is a security issue. Wait a second. And let me, no, just a minute. Let me tell you. Also, if you are talking about security, there's much more insecurity in Nairobi, in Thika, in Kiambu, in any part of this country than northern Kenya. Yes, insecurity in the sense that we may have clan conflicts because of scarcity of resources, water and grazing lands. Absolutely the truth. But what does that have to do with Somalia or Ethiopia or Uganda for that matter and Tanzania? That's all our neighbors and East African countries.
Can I hear from Mheshimiwa Nanok? He's itching to comment on that before we take a break.
Just one point.
Go ahead.
We are talking about registration of voters, Victor.
Yes.
And you are introducing, or the panel has introduced from the back door the question of security, or is it insecurity? And you need to manage that, because questions on voter registration should remain that, voter registration. What hampers voter registration? IBC needs to play differently this time. Now that they have already mapped the country, they know where the people are likely to be, those who are supposed to be registered. Can they undertake effective civic education? Civic education to the people to enhance the voter turnout, the voter registration turnout. The question of the ID registration for the parts of the country that have had challenges of lack of identity documents, that should be taken hand in hand with the voter registration. If there is a way that government can actually do rapid registration, mass registration, not even rapid, mass registration, so that the registration of persons and the voter registration exercise go hand in hand.
Yeah.
That would bring on board the numbers that we are looking for. And we've already said the numbers are in the north. This country, Victor, the opportunities for this country are in the north. It is in the north that your economic growth as a country will be brought on board, and they act like low-hanging fruits. Look at the oil in Turkana. Look at the minerals.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We are not exploiting these things. And the reason why people go to these condensed or densely populated areas is about economic opportunities that they are looking for.
Okay.
And so if you open the north economically, it is going to bring out these Kenyans and spread out this country.
We all agree that
the land is still there.
We all agree that all of us have a great role to do, the way we are doing right now, including you elected leaders, that you need to go out there, including you, Oscar, to sensitize people that we need to go out there and register as new voters.
Yeah.
I want to take a break. I can see Mheshimiwa Nanok and Mheshimiwa DG don't have their cups of coffee. We are not
and I need to say something about this.
When you come back.
Thank you. Okay.
That topic we close.
The cups of...
We'll be right back. Have the last word. If you mention it, I must have the last word.
I don't want to feel that you're marginalizing.
Absolutely. Voter registration is always so... When it's come to voters, okay. So let's come back. Oscar, the whole issue here is voter mobilization. And I also want us to talk about the issue of trust with electoral institutions. Did you say that, God willing, let's all come back here towards the end of the exercise and talk about whether Kenyans have hit the target or the date that is given out by the IEBC or not. But let's come back. The issue of voter mobilization and trust in electoral institutions. Can you talk about that?
Okay. I told you one thing is inspiration, and the IEBC has not been inspiring because how they do their processes. Secondly, we were discussing, I thought we were discussing about voter registration in Kenya.
Yeah.
But you see, this thing went to the marginalized communities because we have two gentlemen come from the northern frontier here. And I told them the voter turnout, the turnout will be low, and I was accused of being biased in that statement. But what I mean is that, for example, I want to see a situation where Nanok convinces the county assembly of Turkana and Governor Jeremiah
Morgai
in Turkana to put some small thing in their budget to deal with voter mobilization over this particular time. Same to Deputy Governor Mandera. If you guys can, because I tell you for a fact, IBC has not created special funds for the northern frontier where you want to register 2 million to address the problems down there.
Oscar, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Your microphone has a problem. It'll be fixed. No, don't worry. It will be fixed. I'm sorry about that. Let me come back to you, Mheshimiwa Nanok.
Yes.
He actually, because he talked about that, but let's talk about the voter mobilization, because now it goes back to you as leaders now. We are starting it here on the national television to sensitize people, but it has to go back to the elected leaders, back to the grassroots, because look at the amount of work that IEBC has to do. Just how much of work do you think elected leaders have between now and 2027 to push for a new voter registration?
Thank you, Victor, and you are spot on the role of the political leaders,
yes,
and generally the leaders in the areas in the country to mobilize the voters. Yes, I have a role to play, and a serious one at that. I visit my constituency just about every other fortnight. I am there, if not weekly. And I'm meeting my constituents. In those meetings, I need to bring out this aspect. I need to encourage the people to get to register. The biggest impediment to voter registration is lack of an ID. And I've said here, Victor, we have to move the two processes together. Do the registration of IDs or persons, and in tandem, ask those people who are getting their IDs to register as voters.
And many IDs are still stuck in Huduma centers.
And take, for example, my area, my county, Victor. The Huduma Center in Turkana County, an area of 77,000 square kilometers, is only in Lodwar town. From Lodwar town to my farthest point in my constituency is 300 kilometers, costing about 1,500 to 2,000 shillings. Actually, to and fro would be 3,000. Who will spend that money? That money is not available to those people. And that becomes a challenge. So this is what I'm saying. Can we have mass registration of persons, okay, and in tandem have the voter registration exercise go along with those people? Yeah, that is the only way you are going to net these people. Mobility is a difficult challenge in my area, okay? Movement, vastness, and then the cost of doing this business. It is prohibitive. And that is what we need to address. So yes, IBC may not have the resources, and therefore Parliament should and government should actually provide resources to this critical department. Now that we have kick-started this exercise, IBC should be properly resourced to be able to reach out, okay? Then the Department for Registration of Persons should also be resourced. Good point. Those two things must go together.
Hello, Victor, what I was saying, you see these two gentlemen are complaining about something that has taken place, the marginalization that has gone on for 60 years. We cannot correct unless we have a radical ideas,
which is
we cannot correct. We cannot correct.
Which is removal of vetting. That's a radical idea.
We cannot correct the marginalization that has happened for 60 years in one day. The reason of these persons or voters is starting in 1 hour's time. It is today. It is starting today. The problems he's mentioning are problems that have been there for the last 60 years. For example, if we go with the narrative of the Deputy Governor Machakos, then we're going to end up repeating the same mistakes that we've done. The vetting that they're talking about, a very wrong policy that was put in place. It was put in place to mess up the already existing problems. Don't vet. Why do you vet? How do you become Kenyan? Go back to that constitution, by birth. At birth, we register. People who are registered by birth, they have birth certificates. People who are born in Somali,
the people I'm telling you who are denied IDs have a birth certificate.
So the problem is structural. You know, there's something.
You have high school degree. You have your parents.
Hold on.
Both certificates, Professor. And you have been denied, my friend. Professor. This is.
So what the DG is saying is actually a violation of human rights, and it's called in our studies structural violence. When you embed things in our structures to deny people chances. For example, if you go to a bank, I come from the Luo community, and sometimes we are accused of not paying loans, which is not true. And you see, when you say, fill this form in a bank, that is meant sometimes to marginalize you. When you fill the form and you say, where do you live? Kariobangi. Just based on where you live, you can be denied a loan. Based on where you live. Or based on your second name, you can be denied a loan. For example, what they're saying, that people don't have IDs. What are IDs for? A person who doesn't have ID in Kenya has no right of banking. Because in banks, for you to open a bank account, you must have an ID. A person, if you come to the university, for you to be registered and held, you must have an ID. For you to become a student in Kenya university, you must have an ID for you to get your systems working. So already you're marginalized on many things. Although they're complaining about the voter problem, voting is one thing. But just remember that these people, I've gone to Turkana, somewhere called Lokiriama. Lokiriama is the end of everything.
It's Loima.
In Loima.
That is Loima constituency.
The people get services from somewhere called Moroto, which is across in Uganda.
In Uganda.
It's
not across, it's
There's
another
no police station. There's no police station in Lokiriama. There's no government services. Completely, no government. The DU, I think, in Lokiriama, there's no office, there's no government. There's no presence of government. Security is offered by one man who has a gun, who is called an
NPR.
NPR. You get me right? So in such a place, talking about a voter's card is something unforeseen. You get me right? So what we have to do, we have populations here. They're not just bodies. And how do you vet people? Even the vetting exercise. What are the criteria of vetting people?
Victor, I want to put
something by registration. But
I think
for you to become a Kenyan, you become a Kenyan by birth, and by birth there's a birth certificate, and it's been registered.
I want to put something on record based on this. Your Excellency.
Just a minute.
Your Excellency, 1 minute. 1 minute. 1 minute, Your Excellency.
I think, Victor, you are allowing the two professors to mislead the viewers.
Okay.
Oscar and
no, we are professors, so
I think their hypothesis is not correct. I'm sure even themselves, they are happy to sit here being reassured of their security. I'm on the record, both even when I was a parliamentarian, even now, talking against any form of discrimination anywhere in this country.
But you support that, Your Excellency, you support that.
Just listen to me, Professor. Yes. You are very good. Professor listens.
Yes.
You remember when you people you are talking, I'm quiet.
It pains me
so now,
when you have a young man who cannot get an ID to go to university. You can't.
So now, what I'm saying is, we have the stringent form of vetting that has been in place. What I want to urge my good professors here and leaders for that matter is Professor Oscar here tells viewers that for you to be a Kenyan, one is you can be through birth. Then I ask myself, then what? That is also a form of vetting. We need to make it simpler so that any criminal element, whether it's in Nairobi, whether it's in northern Kenya, whether it's at whichever border of this country, we are able to distinguish between a real Kenyan and somebody who is not a Kenyan. Victor, let's not dismiss sentiments by Tana River governor that we have people here who are foreigners, and he did not mean, he was categorically very clear that these are people from neighboring country.
Okay.
So we need, as much as we are discussing about voter registration, you cannot register unless you have an ID.
Which country, Your Excellency?
Okay. So in this case, if you must have an ID, if you must have an ID for you to register as a voter in Kenya, it is very important. We could be singing about voter registration, yet our people, our Gen Zs and everybody are lacking these critical documents.
Exactly.
We need to ensure, first, two things are very critical. One, people register as those who do not have ID cards. We ensure they have them. Two, we need to do massive civic education so that anybody who is lacking an ID can ensure he or she has it. Then you go for voter registration. That is what I meant.
Victor,
when I talk,
Victor,
just a question.
Victor, I want to put
this question.
No, please. I want to put something on the record.
Kindly.
Just two quick things.
2 seconds.
First of all, yes, 2 seconds. First of all, this matter regarding Governor Major Godana Doyo, I will simply call it bullshit. Okay? It is. It is. We call it what it is. There is no way somebody born in Somalia becomes a chief in Kenya. Okay? That is nonsense. Number two, on the issue of giving ID at birth, every person that I am telling you who was born in Kenya was issued birth certificates at birth. But they have birth certificates, they have high school graduation, they have births of their both parents and IDs, and they are still have been denied. And that's what vetting we are trying to remove. And I hope our brothers here understand how difficult that situation is. Lastly, my friend here, Huduma Center, and these guys who are doing ID registrations. Yes, generally the president has made a proclamation and pronunciation that vetting has been removed. But there are elements in the system who are holding all the IDs from northern Kenya. And I think these are the agents of Rigathi Gachagua and the likes, because these are the guys who are fighting, and they have people in the system. So every time we go, they tell us there is a backlog. There is only backlog for ID registration from Northern Kenya. There is no backlog for Nyanza. There is no backlog for Western Kenya. All the other places, there is no backlog. Why is there a backlog for ID distribution for Northern Kenyan people?
Victor.
That is nonsense also.
Allow
So
me say one
We need to
one
challenge
thing.
this Rigathi Gachagua and his moles in the ID registration processes.
Okay.
Thank you.
I want to stick to. I want to stick. Victor.
You just threw us off the back.
DG has a way of bringing on new topics.
But I want to ask you this question, gentlemen.
Just one more.
As you respond to that as well, kindly.
Okay.
What do you think? Because, we've faced so many challenges over and over again over IBC. We've had Isaac Hassan Commission, we have Kivuitu, we've had the late Chebukati, may he rest in peace, and all that. And now we have Mheshimiwa Ethicon. As leaders who've been attending forums, workshops, you make laws and you meet your constituents, what do you think IBC should do it differently this time around? Starting today until the end of the voter registration, at least we have something that is completely different. If you are to advise Ethicon and his team, what do you think he should do?
Victor, first and foremost, now that you are mentioning Erastus, who happens to come from my county, and the Turkana people are grateful to the president and his cabinet for considering the appointment, for actually bringing him on board.
Is he not qualified?
No,
he's qualified.
It's not about. It's not about that, DG. Please don't take off my mind. My line of thought. Qualification is there. You of course heard someone saying that they have given the chair of IBC to a Bushman. You heard that statement, Victor.
Yeah.
And so DG here should be reminded that there are those kind of thoughts in this country, and we need to disabuse. But that's not what I want to say. Erastus and his team should be allowed to do what they're supposed to do. IBC is supposed to be a neutral arbiter of the voting processes. One of the things that IBC needs to put in place for purposes of netting in majority of these majority of these mobile voters, introduction of mobile registration. The issue of going to one county headquarter, a specific place, as the Don said, you go to Lokiriama and you expect that someone from Namorupus and Lokiriama are about 50 kilometers, 60 kilometers apart, that you will expect someone from Namorupus to walk to this place to get registered will definitely cause us not to.
So in other words, you're saying that it should be devolved.
Move the registration
closer to people.
Closest to the people.
Okay.
And the closest, in my county, the closest you can go to would be a village. There are about 160 villages in Turkana County. And only 6 constituencies.
And of course,
can you imagine that?
You're now talking generally.
That is mobile registration would enhance these numbers, because then you are going to where the people are, and you will be undertaking the 2 exercises that I said: the ID registration and the voter registration.
County government.
That should be done as fast as that. That is the way to bring the numbers. And these numbers are not from the blues, Victor. The 6.3 targeted registered voters is not from someone's mind. It is a data that has been generated based on the people who have been born and therefore they have graduated, they are getting to 18 years. And those of us who are already having problems getting IDs because of all these other challenges, address those challenges. As the Don said, these are historical issues, marginalization, matters. They cannot be addressed in a day. Now that we are here, you can start something different today. And this registration should not, for the Northern Kenya, don't close the window. of registration. Keep it open.
What about my people in Homa Bay County, Mheshimiwa?
Well, I mean, it will apply across. Those who have challenges be given the time and the ability to register.
Thank you.
Don't close the window in another 1 month time.
I think for IEBC to succeed, they
something
need to do
different.
The following.
Yeah.
They need to do the following. One is institutionalism. They need to be allowed to operate. UDA and Kenya Kwanza are never known to allow institutions to operate as per their mandate.
That is a blanket statement.
Now,
UDA and
yes,
we're not talking about this is government. This is Kenya government. It is not about UDA.
I can build a case through.
It's not about UDA.
Now, if they are allowed to do their business, not to wait for cause to go and do this, go and do this. If they are allowed to operate professionally, I believe that they will do a good job. And I dissociate myself with the sentiments that a Bushman was given. If he is qualified, and I believe the chair of IEBC is highly qualified, yeah. I think he should be, they should be allowed as a team and as a commission to run there. Two, resources are key into this, Victor. They need to be resourced and ensure they are supported by, because IEBC alone cannot carry out this. We know the security sector, we know other institutions like registrar of persons who issues IDs and that kind of a thing. They need to be supported. Three, massive voter registration. Four, massive civic education on voter registration.
Which we've started.
Four.
Yes.
I think the leaders, the religious leaders, elected leaders, other political leaders, or other parties, they need to be involved into this exercise so that we can have as many people as possible register as voters. Yeah. I think if we do those among us, many others, we will have a high turnout when it comes to voter registration. And then I think in Europe, after Second World War, they talked of Marshall Plan to rebuild devastated areas. I think even in this country, this we need to take it as a kind of plan specifically for the marginalized. I believe there is an equalization fund. I think that is too little.
DG is talking.
No, it is not. Professor, a little bit. We need that kind of this equalization fund. I think it is too little. Yeah. And you know, under UDA and Kenya Kwanza, they have done away with the devolved funds like CDF. They are doing it away with it, and I can tell you as I sit here, and these funds are very critical in ensuring those border points are well developed and they are aided to catch up with the rest of the country. So I think because when you look at UDA and Kenya Kwanza, they are for centralism. I think we need to go a lot of decentralization so that we can move forward.
Oscar, yes. If you're to sit, just to advise, I mean, we've heard this a lot, given listening to the three gentlemen, the three leaders here. Something new to Chairman Erastus and his team?
Erastus and his team. What DG says political interference can be a problem because should be an independent institution. It's difficult to be an independent institution if you are a political institution. It's political again, and it is, and mostly is a referee. If you are a referee, you must have stakeholders who are supporting you. So long as the stakeholders don't support you, you can never be a good referee. If the fans are not supporting you, and the players are not supporting you, and the linesmen are not supporting you, you will end up not doing the easy job. So the problem is, from what I said, for example, what I told about governor here, that because of the vast area, equalization fund, let's start with this one. Probably IEBC should implement that one, equalization fund. That they don't address the northern Kenya the same way they will address Nairobi or the country. You get me right? Yeah. It should be different from what is in terms of even funding. The county governments in Mandera and county governments in Turkana should come in. The leaders should come in, like the whatever religious leader, to help IBC to achieve this mission. But if you leave it for the IBC and Ethocon, when the Ethocon messes, this country will burn again. You know what happened with Kivuitu. You know what happened with the other guys. They were not supported.
Even Ahmed Isai.
The goodwill, which means the goodwill of the players, for the referee to be able to work. But if we leave the referee at the Ethocon, when you're nafanya hiyo, the country will burn and all of us will burn.
Oscar, in 2 seconds, telling your voters out there, the registration kicks off in the next 1 hour or something?
Yes.
One word.
I mean, participation in voters is a sacramental right.
Thank you.
Yes. Participate in it. Choose the leaders you want.
Dr. One word.
What's it?
We are done with this now. Kwanza, are you going to verify if your name is still the voter register?
Oh, absolutely.
You have to.
That one I can never miss.
Thank you.
And
last word to
in
Kenyans.
terms of the leaders encouraging and participating in voter registration, I can guarantee you we are very deep into that. Because, as I told you, as the people of Northern Kenya, we want to prove a point. And so we are really leading the way in terms of voter registration.
We'll be here.
Yes.
We'll be here with you.
Absolutely.
Kenya is a democracy. The way to participate in elections is through this voter registration. Can those who have the best interest of Kenya at heart take part by registering and waiting to vote? Yes.
Mheshimiwa DJ.
Please, let's come out in large numbers and register as voters. And I want to also say marginalization is only, it could be largely in northern Kenya, but also even here in Nairobi. There are areas they need to be brought up so that they can catch up with the rest of the areas to be developed. It is the entire country, not necessarily northern Kenya, although much of the focus should be in northern Kenya. Because that is where this country actually should be getting a lot of resources from. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, gentlemen. On 17th of July this year, the Principal Secretary, State Department for Public Service and Human Capital Development, that is Dr. Jane Kere Imbunya, visited Makadara Huduma Center. And there was a report that came out in July that said that a lot of, almost 250,000 IDs are still lying in, actually 300,000 IDs are still lying in Huduma centers across the country. So that is a very big number. You can imagine 300,000. Exactly. And you have that, and that is...
How are you arriving at that?
Go ahead.
Professor, how?
And when you have
because
that...
they're sabotaging.
I'm finishing. When you have that and then, go out there as a Kenyan, make sure that you have your ID. If you are a new registered voter, please make sure that you have your ID with you, register, and it's going to be a good run in 2027 and make your voice heard.
Thank you.
My name is Victor Lo. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming. DG Mwangangi from Machakos County, thank you so much for coming. Mheshimiwa Nanok, thank you so much. And people of Turkana West, thank you. He's here. Usimwone ako hapa. He's here.
You didn't give us time to say something about
Malim.
Uhuru.
Just a minute. Dr. Malim, Mandera is also here, he's working. And of course, Oscar. Watoto is here. He's coming to class after this. Okay. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Tunamaliza with the question of the day. We are talking about...
It is sad that you are saying Oscar is going back to class, yet he is going to streets.
No, he's going to teach students.
No, which students? He's going to streets.
What do you mean?
These people are out.
Look.
This is Kenya Kwanza, and they would have destroyed the education sector.
This is the question of the day. And the question of the day is, what are the key...
This one is in the broad-based government.
Just a minute. What are the